You have just upgraded to Proxmox 9, or you have installed Proxmox 9, and you want to take advantage of the Proxmox 9 features for Docker. Then this video is for you. You need to watch this video to the end, as we are going to show you two ways to install Docker in a LXC container. The one is the recommended way, and the other is the new way using the new features of Proxmox 9. Here are some of the benefits of installing Docker in a Proxmox 9 LXC container. We have nested containers that work reliably. With the nestling and grouping settings, this allows Docker to run smoothly inside the LXC. You now get a better file system and storage support, improved networking, and finally, simpler monitoring and management. The instructions to this video can be found in our blog. Please have a look down below for the link. Enough said, let's get our hands dirty. The first thing we want to do is to download the new LXC templates. So let's select our server here and click Shell. We want to see what templates are available. We will run this command. You will now select Ubuntu 22.04. This is a long-term support version. You can also select 24.04. And if you want to be brave, you can try the new 25.04. Let's go with 24.04. And we copy this. You will download that to your local drive and then paste. And that's the command you will run. However, we already have that, so we don't need to do that. After doing this, we will go back to our browser. I'm talking about this section here. And now we will click Create Container. Let's move this back up. We are going to call this Docker LXC. One of the things we've noticed, you have to be careful. You can't change the names of your containers. You can change everything else except the name and the container ID. Now you need to provide a good password. Make sure you give it a strong password. In our case, we have a 2 terabyte drive, disk 2. So our default storage comes up as disk 2. And there it is. Give this thing enough storage. We are going to run quite a few things in here. So I'm going to give this 100 gigs. 100 gigabytes should be enough storage. Two cores. This depends on your hardware. In our case, 2 cores. Now you can give it 4 gig or 8 gig. We are going to give this thing 8 gig. You can give it 4 gig, but we're going to give it 8 gig of RAM. And the same amount for the swap. And then press next. Networking, we're not going to make a change now, but you can actually do this. In our case, we're going to give this a static IP address. You need to end the IP address with /24. /24. And notice this is grayed here. Now when I type 24, which is a valid IP address, this becomes active. Also, let's provide our gateway. That's fine. Leave out the IP6 stuff. Here you need to provide your DNS service. So 1.1.1.1 and then Google 8.8.8.8. Right, this looks good. Let's build this. Right, it's done. And if we look here, we've got a Docker LXC. All of these here are LXC containers. So you can see this is a LXC container. It has a different symbol. It's a cube. The others are VMs. Right, now we start it. Let's open a terminal. In this case, the console. I'm logging in as root. I wish they'd allow you to use a non-root user. We want to run a couple of commands here to update and upgrade. This is the first thing you do with a new Ubuntu server. We will pause the video. We are now going to install Docker. We have already run apt update and apt upgrade. We will now install the CA certificate. We're now going to add the GPG key. And now we're going to add the Ubuntu repository. Let's clear the screen. Right, it's picked up the Docker Ubuntu repository. Now we want to install a couple of things. First, we want to install the community edition of Docker and its CLI, then the containers D, compose, and build DX. Now let's test that Docker is working. Perfect. We now want to enable Docker. You can now run the command system control enable Docker, but we're putting -- now to force it. And we can also do a state. And you can see it's enabled and it's running. Control C to exit. We are now going to install Dockge. Some people call it Dockge, but it's Dockge. Let's clear the screen. Inside our OPT folder, we are going to create a stacks folder. In the stacks folder, we're going to create the Dockge folder. And we are going to open this folder. We are now going to create the Docker compose file. Please note the modern name is compose.yaml, Y-A-M-L. Let's do that in our favorite editor. And then go to our instructions and look for this section here to create the compose file. You need to copy the whole thing. You can click this button and paste this in. And then Control S to save and X as in X-ray to exit. Now there's something we do in our channel that we don't see other channels doing. When you create a Docker compose file, you should do a Docker compose pull first. If there are any issues, you'll pick it up now. Otherwise, you got your image down and running it will be much faster. So here's the command, Docker compose pull. Now that we've done it, now we can run it in detached mode. So now it's Docker compose up-d. The reason we run this in detached mode is two reasons. Firstly, it'll run and it'll stay there in memory. After doing that, we get back our access to the terminal. So let's run this. As you can see, it started fairly quickly. Now we go back to our instructions, and if you look here, we have explained this is the URL you will run. It's your LXC container IP address and the port 5001. So I can click this link and Dockge is running and save that. One of the nice features with running Dockge is that we have a library in our GitHub repository with tons of Docker stacks that you can install. So let's give you an example of one. We'll provide a link to our repositories. You're interested in our Docker stacks. And here you can see we have everything from Jellyfin to Joplin to Kali Linux. N8N. If you are working with AI, this is a nice tool. Even Wiki.js, we got it working nicely. And Vault Warden. So this is a very rich library. And please let us know if there's anything we should add here. Let's say you wanted to install Nextcloud. So you can open it here. Copy the compose file, the raw file. Right. Then we go here and we click the compose button and we paste it in here. Remove the .env, make that empty. And we want the name here, Nextcloud. Copy that and make that the stack name. Now we save it. It will now write this into the OPT stacks folder as a stack called Nextcloud. Now we need to start it. It's busy pulling down the images. There's a database image and there's a server image. Right, it has started. Everything is running. When I move my cursor here, over here you will see a pop-up with a URL for this deployed application running in my Docker container. So I'm going to open it in a new tab. And there we are. We have Nextcloud running. As you can see, this is a fairly easy process to do. Just follow those instructions, run those commands exactly as we have. This is for Ubuntu 24.04. There is a new feature that came out with Proxmox version 9. If you open your Proxmox server and you go to the disks, in our case disk 2, this is where we want to do this. Click on container templates. In the past, we would put a URL in there and download file, like these files here. However, there's a new option now here where we can pull from a Docker repository. Let's assume we want to download Uptime Kuma as a Docker image that can run as a LXC container directly. Then we specify the Docker repository. This is exactly where the Uptime Kuma is in Docker. For the tag, we want latest. And for the file name, you see it's reference underscore tag. So it'll be underscore latest. So this is basically what we have here. Dash Lewis Lamb dash uptime dash Kuma. And now we should be able to download it. This is about 50 megabytes. And there it's done. And there we are. Now we have a template for Uptime Kuma that we can create an LXC container with that. Let's say you want Portainer. So we'll do the same. Pull. This is the community edition of Portainer in the Docker Hub repository, like the previous one. We have a problem with the latest version, so we are going to use a previous revision. So this is the revision we are going to use, and then it will be basically Portainer underscore and then the revision. And now we will download. We were surprised. It actually came down quite quick. Now we can close this window. And here it is. Here's the community edition. Let us create an Uptime Kuma LXC container. So you click here, create container. Let's move this up a bit. Let's call this like that. We'll give it a password. This needs to be a strong password. Now you click on next. Now here we will select Uptime Kuma. Here it is. Let's give this thing 20 gigs. I have 2 cores, so I'm going to give this thing 2 cores. And I'm going to give it 4 gigs. And the same with the swap. Networking, we'll make this static. So we'll give it that IP address 10. And the gateway. Now you'll notice that it's grayed here. We have to add /24. That defines it as a static IP address. And now we will use 1.1.1.1 and 8.8.8.8. And we're happy with this. And if we look over here somewhere, 101, there it is, and we can start it. And we should be able to open it in the browser. And we should be able to open it in port 3001. And since we know the IP address of this is .76, this should be the URL. And there we are. Amazing. This is the smallest way we can take a Docker application and run it as a standalone LXC container. We trust you found this interesting. Please give us a like and subscribe to our channel as we haven't reached our target yet. Now we have a tradition in this channel that we greet in different languages. Thank you, dude. Cheers. And now we will greet you in Italian. Grazie mille a me, ciao.